Welcome back to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Kerry Stevenson. Tony Locantro, Truth Bomb Tony. He's back in the days after Easter, the long weekend where I've eaten too much chocolate, had too much ice cream, feeling a little bit ick, but I'm hoping Tony will make me feel better. Also, right now, gold is hitting all-time highs. Don't forget, if you haven't already, register for the Australian Gold Conference. It's going to be an absolute ripper. We have Eureka 24 starting on Monday, the 26th of August, followed by 2 days of really, really good information. And if you don't understand gold, then that is the place you need to be. We're going to talk all things markets. We're going to talk about what's happening out there because Tony's in a great place. He is with Alto Capital. He's been in these markets for quite some time. He's seen the ups, he's seen the downs, and he's seen the irrationality of people and the psychology of markets. Tony, great to see you.
Oh, awesome, Kerry. And I didn't like your chocolate and ice cream admission.
Oh, that's right. You're on this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Forgot about that.
Well, actually, for this month, I'm giving up milk.
Oh, I know I've got to give it up. How do you just give up milk? I love milk.
You know what?
Chocolate
Today I've made myself black coffee. Look, I need a bit of sweetness. I have stevia, which is probably the best of the pretty bad bunch.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I can have 3 or 4 and I'm absolutely flying. But I just thought with the way I've been going, I started to feel a little bit sluggish. And it's because I just had my mother-in-law over from Hungary. And Juliana made me an absolute load of homemade ice cream. But healthy ice cream, carnivore ice cream, and sugar-free Jello. And I thought, I'm gonna have a shred month because I want to become as cut as a kilo of Coke, Kerry.
Oh, stop it.
Well, I'm just loving my life, and 6 days a week in the gym now, and I'm alert.
Okay, all right.
But clients need me on
gold.
top.
It's so much more fun.
No, it's not. Actually, my previous life, I was a police officer, half price McDonald's. A lot of the time you'd get leftovers. I was unhealthy. I was a smoker. Now, I think clients need me mentally right because tell you what, I had my worst month ever in December. I had to pay my firm to work there. It was that bad. I think it was $123 negative. Now, I'm back. Greed is back. And I have a saying. There was a fund manager who was based out of Hawaii, and between Joseph and Rick Rule, they saved Paladin from going to heaven.
Yeah,
this is before the uranium bubble, and he came up with this quote that always resonates with me, and he said, "At the start of the bull market, we have all the paper, and they have all the money. At the end of the bull market, we have all the money and they have all the paper." Now, the point of that is, as much rubbish as I cop for some of my stocks go down, we are drowning in cheap stock. So instead of chuck a tanty, my clients are loaded with cheap stock. And guess what? The cheap stock window, I believe, has been slammed shut.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you can take. I took play. We took some deals. Fundamentals haven't changed at all. Some of these companies.
Yep.
Recently I sat down, thought about my 25 years as a stockbroker, and I just said, well, I've just bagged another 4 winners. Spartan has 6 bagged. Mayfield Group Holdings, which I keep to myself, an industrial stock that pays dividends. I'm going to claim Pharmost for the second time. That's multi-bagged. And probably a little bit premature to bag Dimerics. But anyway, and the good thing is, Kerry, even one of my red-headed stepchildren, Narada.
Oh, yes.
Got a dose of the traders. This thing, seriously, 2 cents to 17 cents in about 3 or 4 days.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've got some of that.
You do. I managed to piss you off no end. Oh, but it's come back. And then we had a day where a stock called Osteopore,
a Biotech,
10 bagged in a day. and the trading madness. So this is reminiscent of 2020 when we had some stocks go up 1,000% in a day. Now, what I'm trying to work out is how much of this rally is real and how much is youth fugazi. But I can assure you that through my conversations with clients, that greed is back. And market...
That's not a good thing though, Tony. You know,
Well, it has to be, because what else is going to spark some of these... What's going to get these red-headed stepchildren into line, Kerry? And what is going to be the spark for gold juniors that have been in the doldrums despite 2,294-ish on the gold price, 3,500, give or take, Aussie? There is no interest in gold juniors.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but it's greed. If the trading momentum can come into a couple of biotechs, it will eventually come into gold. What we need is the mother of all drill intersections or a takeover. So my most successful stock for my clients, which is actually 50 bagged twice, thanks Ramilius, drilled into the biggest gold intersection. This is 2007, right? And the stock 50 bagged. And that was, but we need some excitement, and that is driven by greed. And I think there's no fever like gold fever. Once people start comparing companies, silver stocks, it'll be like trying to suck an ocean through a straw. So this is all ahead of us. And I think the risk for a lot of speculators is selling too early, because we've had an absolute shit show for over 2 years. It's been a chronic low price share environment, and you'll start to see some takeovers. But the biggest protector of takeovers is egos, because everyone's is bigger than everyone else's. So anyway, this is great. I'm having a blast after a down period. But that's what I do. There's no joy in buying a stock at 10 cents and it trades at 11. I'd rather have a stock get cut in half, maybe a bit cheaper, get some cheap stock, stick to the fundamentals and wait. But
sorry to interrupt you, but you said earlier the window has closed, but now you're saying, you're ready to have, that there are opportunities out there. So has the window closed, or is the window still open?
The window for the stupid cheap stock with heaps of attaching options has closed, but it's still early days in a number of companies.
Okay.
And I think what happened is when these stocks get hit by traders, the biggest enemy is dopamine, because you start to think this is real. You start to see things you shouldn't be seeing, and it plays up. And I've had some really good. I've got a client that's won lotto on a biotech stock, and I said, well, take the weekend, assess your situation, but people start to lose respect for money now. When stocks are flying, they'll get complacent, and it's all part of the speculator's journey. But I think what we're seeing now is trading momentum, interest. There was a biotech lunch in Perth recently, and those that went said it was absolutely packed, and they haven't seen anything like it for years. But the only way to make serious money is through buying cheap stocks.
So, Tony, we're talking about that, so that greed, the window, etc., but there's still opportunity out there.
Oh, absolutely. And my main point is that some of these stocks, as you've seen with all the bubbles since .com, these things become massively overpriced. Once speculators get excited, FOMO, traders, now we've got social media. Now we've got another exchange, SIBO, where multiple orders appear on the screen. And these stocks...
What is it? SIBO? Never heard of it.
SIBO, it's the old Chi-X. So these are mainly computer-driven traders as well. And these stocks will turn over huge volumes, and trading activity begets trading activity. So I think, with COVID, we saw the evolution of the stay-at-home trader. And I just think now, despite the economy, despite what's going on in the world, I think we can, by now, start to see the beginnings of a new bull market in speculative stocks. And a lot of these companies do have fundamentals, and we just got to get back to that. So yeah, as I said, the last 2 years have been crap. I had my worst month ever as an employee of any organization. And now I'm back. Clients are up and about. We've had a few winners. Not everyone, of course, because you just can't buy stocks and ignore it.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and probably something that I've been guilty of. But regardless of that, you mentioned geopolitical. We are in a world now, and my heart goes out to the poor lady Romy, who was murdered in the Gaza Strip a couple of days ago. Terrible times around the world, and not just there. We've got Ukraine. Geopolitical risk. Is that a time where people, and I guess that could be the reason for gold starting to move a little bit. Is this a time where certain parts of the market will perform better? I mean, it sounds awful to be even talking about it, but you've got to be aware of it and aware of the risks and opportunities in a way. I'm not saying this very well, Tony, but I'm kind of wondering, you know where I'm coming from. Does that change things, I guess, in a way? Because there is so much risk, uncertainty, war, potential for war, geopolitics, US election, our government here spending money like it's candy. It's a crazy time. So is this the time where certain sectors will do better than others? I guess where I'm coming from.
I actually had a decent chat with a client today, and he said, part of the reason why I signed up with you is your lack of interest in politics and the fact that you don't talk about politics. And to be honest, my care factor is quite low. But in the good old days, you could have a car bomb in the Middle East go off and gold would put on $20. And that was the reason why gold went up. So everywhere in the world, there is shit happening. Mm-hmm. What I do is remain laser focused on companies buying low and selling high, because there's always reasons not to buy anything. Remember the days when Italy and Greece were going broke?
Yes, I do actually.
I mean, and people were worried about that. The market's always going to be here. And I get people send me stuff that everything's going to be taken off us. Well, shit. Well, what's the reason for living if that's going to happen? Markets go on, and there's lots of people out there that are going to instill fear in people because it sells friggin' newsletters and gets some likes on TikTok and YouTube, and they make money out of advertising. So for me, the spec market has been the same since I started it in 1993, 1994. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So you've just got to, worry about your family, worry about making money, and don't lose the plot. But
and just anyway, be a good human as well. Just be a good human.
Yeah. And I say to people, my clients, just learn to respect money. I actually used the quote today. The Liberal and Labor Party, it's like Coke or Pepsi. It's like Virgin or Qantas. Who do you prefer? They're both bloody the same. Nothing's changed. Anyway, I'm talking too much about politics. I don't want this client to leave because I couldn't give a flying, to be honest.
All right, let's get away from politics. It was really more about given what's going on in the world, you don't care about it, but does it lead you down? Does it lead you down certain sectors more than others? Is I guess where I'm coming from. More smaller stocks, more gold stocks versus industrials. That's where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah, I care. But the thing is, it's all about money flow and where the large investors are going to go, because they don't want to miss out. They want to get their bonus, to pay off their Mossman mortgage or their BMWs, right? No one likes to be left behind. And the spark could come into any sector. So it's money flow. But if you buy fundamentally sound small caps and are prepared to take some nasty hits along the way, in the end, you'll end up winning, because I can't remember too many of my stocks with solid fundamentals that haven't eventually delivered. So it's really is about patience. And to an extent, this rush where my red-headed stepchildren had massive runs, it's really screwed over a few clients who now want to look for a stock that's going to do that within a day.
All right,
No,
patient.
it's a long game, and
Yep.
I'm coming up to 26 years, and I would probably have the biggest bank of learning behavior of people than a lot of other stockbrokers in the industry, because I can work out my clients, I read my clients, and that's part of the journey. But this is a very tough game, and that's the way it goes. I mean, I had a client that bought a Biotech stock 7 days later at 7 bags. And then I've had others that have been absolutely poleaxed on it. Sometimes it's luck. I had a client when Ramilius made that discovery. I had a client that didn't have any internet access for a bit, and he made 50 times his money where others probably sold on the double. So it all evens itself out, Kerry.
Yeah, it is interesting, Tony, because the psychology of people is also interesting, and patience. And that's what Rick Rule had with during the Paladin days, when the stock went down to, I think, 1 cent, and eventually made him a lot of money. But as you said earlier, it is about looking at the fundamentals, and if things have not changed, holding the course. But my question to you is, has the market changed since you and I have last spoke? Because last we spoke, you were going, "Oh, it's a terrible time in the markets," but you seem a little bit more chipper, and Monkey Man behind you seems to have a smile on his face. What do you think has changed? Is it just sentiment in the market? Is it the gold price and the silver price going up? What's changing, do you think?
I just can see that placements are getting away easier. Stocks are having a bit of a run. You see some stocks actually trading above the placement price. Some companies will be able to raise at a premium, but even though that's a great sales pitch, but it feels better. It simply feels better. My clients aren't as down in the dumps as they were. And once you have a few winners, even if it's a stock that not many people own, they start to rotate into other stocks.
Yeah.
It's great. And this is heading towards a normal small cap market where companies are valued for what they have. And you can still buy gold stocks at stupid valuations. There's still going to be corporate activity, and the money will flow down from the producers. So, you see Northern Star up around $15.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that. So it's game on. And hopefully we head towards a market that does reward fundamentals. It's like cloudy with a chance of meatballs, because sometimes the trading gang will visit one of our stocks, and for many people, it's time to take out your trash in others. So it's a great time to be in this market. I feel, after we've toughed it out, and we're both gold bugs.
Yes, we are both gold bugs, and you'll be speaking at the gold conference in August. But I was just remembering, I think it was a couple of years now, Tony, and it was not a stock through you, but I was talking to you about a particular stock that shall remain nameless. And all you said to me was, take some profits. So one of the things that you're always very much about is, don't be stupid, don't sit there. And you know what? I didn't take his advice, ladies and gentlemen. I watched it go all the way up, and I watched it go all the way back down until I sold the bloody thing. I would be in an extremely good position right now if I'd listened to Tony Locantro at the time. But you do say at times, make sure you take some profits along the way. Would that be right?
Absolutely. And it's all about effective use of capital.
Okay.
I had a client with a 6-figure win. I said, look, sell some of it and let's find the next 4 to 5 bagger. You do not have to carry that amount of stock with you. I've had some lessons along the way myself. I floated Independence Group. My shares, this were the days when you could do stupid cheap seed. My shares went to over 100 grand. Then I sold them. Then they went to over $1 million. I've taken $1 million down with me on one stock, mainly through loyalty and getting greedy. And I'm going to do that over the course of my career. But that's just the way it is. That's the game. That's the game I'm in. And if anything, it's a lesson, and it actually teaches you to respect money a little bit more.
Yep.
But, we'd all rather a 10-cent stock goes into trading halt, they found the next Olympic Dam and they go to $2. That's what we all want, but these things are rare.
That's very rare. Now, I was talking to some young people, and I know you did a course not that long ago for sort of teenagers and people that are just getting in. And I was talking to a couple of youngies recently who said, and they said, "Oh, we'd love to come and listen. We don't even know where to get started. We don't even know about it. We just get our money and we spend it." And I said, "Well, you got to start to learn." What sort of advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out, that's new to the market, that doesn't have a clue of what to do or where to do? What would be the 3 pieces of advice that you would give to those that are new to the market? They're young, they're used to doing the tap, tap, taparoo and never seeing their money again, but not having anything to show for it. What would you say to them?
Well, I'm going to write another course and I'm just going to be like Scott Pape on steroids. I don't care. Kids need to be told the truth, right? And they're not going to listen to their parents. And a lot of, we're like sheep. We all have to do this. We all have to drink. We all have to go to schoolies and blow all our money. We all have to take party drugs at music festivals. I say stuff that. What I actually told my daughter to do was get the Raise app and go tick the aggressive box. Let that money go out of your account. Let it round up your purchases and don't touch it. That's the start. Just tick the aggressive option.
What's the Raise app?
Oh, it's been heavily advertised at the moment on TV.
I don't watch TV, so that's why I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah. Look, I think young people should look into that, and it gives them. It'll just take. I actually do it myself. This will be for Christmas, my Christmas carnival feast, and that's the first thing a young person can do.
Okay.
But the way I see it these days, I think we've reached beyond saturation point on X. X is just a toilet now to try and scroll through threads full of advertising.
Yeah.
I just think there's just far too much information now on social media, on web forums. So I'd start to do that. And then I'd start to look at what area of the stock market you're interested in for starters. And maybe look at the basics, look at the ASX website. I think, The Barefoot Investors is a great book. I came away to open up an ING bank account and a certain type of pillow, which has assisted my sleep. But I think there's certainly a gap in the market for young people to be told the truth.
Well, I will actually come in on that one. And, I'm sure Scott Pape's great. But one of the things I do disagree with, especially for those young couples that have got mortgages, and I work with a guy called Graeme Holm from the Infinity Group, fabulous, mostly about property. He's not interested in shares, but one of the things I say to people is diversification is your friend as well. But for those people that have got a mortgage out there, Scott Pape's saying, open up 18 different bank accounts, one for a holiday, one for splurge, one for bills, one for this, one for that. And Graeme says, no, interest is calculated daily. This is for mortgages, Tony, and I know this is not your area, but interest is calculated daily. If you've got all these savings in all these different accounts, no, pop it all into your mortgage and then have a redraw facility. Because if interest is calculated daily, put everything you have in terms of cash against that mortgage, bring your interest on your mortgage down as much as you possibly can. That's the first thing that I would say to people. That's for people that have a mortgage. And then we can talk about, I think the Raise app is a good way. So as you say, make your money work for you. If you've got debt, if you've got a mortgage, you don't have savings. So we've got to have a look at that as well. So I just want, one of the things I love about talking to you is it's about making money work for you and respecting that money and not being complacent.
Yeah, I said to my 15-year-old son, I said, you have a chance to be elite now because I'm going to give you life lectures. You're going to learn from every mistake I made. And I made him a promise. I said, I'm not going to have my first alcoholic drink till you turn 18. So there you go. I've committed to no more alcohol till he turns 18. But he asked questions about the market. And I think young people need to get involved, and you need to become an accumulator. Yeah. And I've got some young clients, they're in their 30s, who are going to be worth a fortune. And these are young Rick rules. That's the way I look at them. But they've got the right mentality.
Okay, so what is the right mentality? That's what I want to find out.
You've got to be a steady player.
Okay.
And I think you've got to look at the fundamentals. You've got to have a crack. One of my clients who made 7 figures on 2 stocks, Kerry, but he's still operating on 5 gram parcels when he wants something new. And I say, well, I thought you wanted to retire. You've got to have a crack. And I think when you're young, you have to do it. Just back yourself, and you're going to make lots of mistakes, because over my time in speculation, you're going to have some big wins, but you're going to have some big losses as well. So I just think that for many, if you've got the right temperament, you'll fall into it. But sadly, many will get into punting absolute garbage and join social media platforms and become part of a cult. So there's a lot of traps out there. And I just think now we're certainly in information overload, and gone are the days where I used to go to the stock exchange in Sydney and wait for every share price to flash up. And I'd talk to speculators there. It's just the way we get our information's changed, but markets haven't changed since the 1600s. So lots of traps out there, Kerry.
Yeah, lots of traps. And I think the other piece of I guess, information to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, is something that Rick Rule instigates as well, which is, if you're going to buy a stock, don't, as Tony just said, don't listen to the social media commentators. Do your own homework. Spend at least an hour a week, I would say, on every stock that you own. And if you own too many stocks and you don't have that much time, get rid of some. What's your thoughts, Tony?
I think certainly stick to what you know.
Yeah.
But the only way in what I do is to have a portfolio approach. So you just don't want to chuck everything on just a handful. I think you need to spread some risk.
Okay.
And that's certainly been evident with the crappy market we've had. So clients will come to me, they'll say, I've got $50,000. How should we do it? I'll say, look, you're just starting out. We'll pick 7 stocks.
Right.
And I'm hopeful, even though I could probably recommend another 15, obviously I want to put them in some good ones. Some will go all right, some won't. But it's very tough what we do. It's very tough what I do. But if you look at the broader markets, they're certainly not cheap. So you've got to really look for niche stocks, look for niche sectors. And there's a lot going on.
All right. Give me the top 3 sectors. Actually, make it 5. Top 5 sectors, because I know lithium won't be in your top 5, because we've had that conversation before. What are you looking at, top 5 sectors, and do you want to share any specific stocks, or do you want to keep those for your clients?
Oh, I'm happy to share. I like to be transparent.
Okay, so let's go top 3 to 5 commodity sectors that you like at the moment, and then we'll go into specifics.
Gold, silver, copper. We haven't done as well in uranium this run.
No.
We did well prior. So I like gold juniors. I look at enterprise value, which is resources in the ground relative to market cap. I look at management. I look at people like Brad Valukas from Oryaman, and I look at Ian Bamborough from Saturn.
Yeah.
So bingo. These are the types of people that can grow a company, and I've seen lots of gold companies grow. Copper has been an absolute schmozzle, the share prices. You look at Eagle Mountain.
Yeah, blimey.
Unbelievable. This thing, I raised the money at 13 cents, and then it's $1.35, and it's all the way back around 6 cents.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And they're working on building production in Arizona.
How did they get through that, Tony, when when it flew high to 130 and it's now down to 6 cents? Do they just keep raising and raising to try and ensure?
Well, the fortunate position for Tim Mason is he's got Charlie Bass behind him.
True.
So Charlie's ex Eagle Mining, which was actually the first stock I ever bought, gold stock. and Aquila. So he's had huge success, and he's funded Eagle Mountain pretty much all the way, and actually just did some underwriting on the latest issue. But that's how bearish things can get. Same for Staveley, who was another $1.35 to 3 cents.
Yeah.
That was something. I was just in the situation where I need some money, so I actually managed to sell most of mine at the top. Obviously, we've still got people in there, and it's been nasty. But again, he's got a resource in Victoria. Actually, when I was at your conference at Crown, he just released his resource and the share price was still 30 cents. So some of these copper stocks are down 90%. Admittedly, we've had a few absolute stocks that have been belted on that. But I think, there's one other stock, Maronan.
I was about to ask about Maronan, because they'll be at they're coming to present at the gold conference. You've talked about them a lot in the past. Where are they at?
Hit 33 cents today. I think they closed 31. They have two handy resources next to each other, a shallow lead silver resource. Just haven't got the love yet, but I should remind viewers that I was instrumental in the IPO. So we're in at low prices, plus we have some options. So I look at them and I think, well, this is a company that has the resource. They need to drill a part of that towards indicated. They need more tonnage indicated. Bank put a mining study on it, either go into production or get taken out. So these stocks appear, but they don't happen straight away. So pretty much gold, silver, copper, nickel is in the toilet. Indonesian factor there, but if you make a discovery, it doesn't matter what you discover. So you've got the exploration side there. I still love the biotech sector. It's been horrific. I look at a stock like Adalta, code is 1AD. We've been buying quite a lot of that in the mid twos. Based on the fact that if they can get a deal on their drug for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, it might be able to replicate what Nina Webster did at Dimerix. A company in a phase 3 kidney drug trial that got sold down to 6 cents.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And then she's gotten through that first phase and then went to 37. So we've been buying Adalta. There's another stock coming, which I'm looking at. Would I mention it? No, not yet. Probably too early. Jennifer Chow from Chimeric, 3 cents. Done absolutely nothing
Jennifer
wrong.
Chow, I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say a big shout out to Jennifer Chow. She has got the heart of an angel. She helped somebody I know very much. So I must get her onto this program, because I think she's a very good operator, and I wish her all the best. Great little company that deserves a bit of love.
Yeah, got the preclinical results, have some clinical results.
Yep.
Looks great. Can't take a bloody trick. So I look at them. I look at Radio Farm, which is part of that Paul Hopper stable, as well, down to mid fives. But these things, once they get a sniff, they can run like a Kenyan, as I say. They can just keep running. So there's going to be stocks that will deliver on fundamentals.
Yep.
And so what else? What else would you like,
That's
Kerry?
That's it. We're out of time, my friend. We are out of time.
Yep.
As always, it's always fantastic to talk to you. Tony is at Alto Capital. If you want to reach him, Tony, tell them how they can reach you.
Go to TonyLocantro.com. And you can register. I will send out some stuff from time to time. Let's call it Tony Locantro Light. And there will be links to, I will have links to conferences. I will have links to interviews. So, be lazy. Let me do all the work to some extent. But anyway.
TonyLocantro.com. That's where you can go and subscribe. And for the gold conference, you can go to goldevents.com.au, and I'm just going to let you all know that we're going to have a brand new website, which will be launching either the end of this week, beginning of next week, the Australian Gold Conference. We're going to do all things gold. The Eureka 24 is free to attend on the Monday evening. It is going to be a belter. You're going to learn so much. And I remember back in the day, it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was buying some gold. It was 1,640 Australian dollars an ounce. And I thought, what am I doing? It fell back to 1,200. And I thought, I've made the biggest mistake of my life. And I sit here today with you, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 3,500 Australian dollars. Gold does what it always does, which is to protect your purchasing power against governments that do not understand how to turn off the printing machine. Your paper money is being devalued because they just have to keep printing to get themselves out of the troubles that they put themselves in. So all I can say to you is, don't sell your house and your children, but make sure you at least register and come along to the Australian Gold Conference. You never know. It might change your life for the better. And also go check out TonyLocantro.com. But for now, my name is Kerry Stevenson. Thanks for joining us on Making Money Matter. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share this with everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Tony.
Welcome.